Ladies and gentlemen, the topic of our discourse is both simple and revolutionary. It's time to focus. Conquer your mind. But I assure you, what we are about to explore goes far beyond mere concentration or mental discipline. We are delving into the very essence of reality itself. You see, my dear friends, your mind is not just a tool for processing information or solving problems. It is the very foundation of your reality. It is the canvas upon which the entire drama of your life unfolds. And it is time. Yes, it is high time that you recognize this power and learn to wield it with intention and purpose. Now, when I speak of focus, I am not referring to the strained attention that you might apply to a difficult task. No, the focus I speak of is a state of being, a deliberate directing of your consciousness towards that which you desire to make manifest in your world. It is the art of seeing your desires and accomplish facts, of living in the end result, of experiencing now what you wish to experience and what you perceive as the future. This focus, this conquering of the mind, is the key to unlocking the infinite potential that lies dormant within you. For you see, my friends, your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. The circumstances of your life, the events that unfold around you, the very fabric of your reality, all of these are projections of your own consciousness. Let us pause for a moment and truly contemplate this revolutionary idea. Can you grasp the magnitude of what I am saying? Your mind, your consciousness, is not merely observing reality. Every thought, every belief, every assumption you hold is shaping the world you experience. This is why it is crucial, absolutely vital, that you learn to focus your mind, to direct your consciousness with purpose and intention. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, if my mind is creating my reality, why is my life not exactly as I wish it to be? Ah, my friends, this is where the true work begins. You see, most people go through life in a state of unconscious creation. Their minds are filled with doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs. And these mental states manifest as the very limitations they fear. But I am here to tell you that it doesn't have to be this way. You have the power to consciously create your reality, to shape your world according to your deepest desires. And the key to this power lies in your ability to focus, to conquer your mind. So how do we begin this grand endeavor? How do we take control of our minds and, by extension, all reality? The first step, my dear friends, is to become aware of your thoughts, your mental habits, your deeply held beliefs. For you cannot change what you do not acknowledge. Begin by observing your inner dialogue. What stories do you tell yourself about who you are, what you're capable of, what's possible for you? Are these stories empowering or limiting? Do they align with the reality you wish to create? Or do they reinforce the very circumstances you wish to change? This awareness is the foundation of all change. For once you become conscious of your thoughts, you gain the power to choose new thoughts. And remember, my friends, thoughts are things. They're the building blocks of your reality. Choose them wisely. Now, once you have cultivated this awareness, the next step is to deliberately choose thoughts and mental images that align with your desires. This is where the true art of focus comes into play. You must learn to hold in your mind's eye a clear, vivid image of your desire fulfilled. You must learn to experience in your imagination the joy, the satisfaction, the sense of accomplishment that would be yours if your desire were already realized. This, my friends, is the secret of effective prayer. For prayer is not a pleading with some external power. It is not a beseeching of a distant deity. No true prayer is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is the deliberate assumption of the state of consciousness you would occupy if your desire were already a fact in your world. Let me give you an example to illustrate this principle. Suppose you desire financial abundance. The common approach would be to focus on the lack of money, to worry about bills, to stress about how to make ends meet. But this focus only serves to perpetuate the very state of lack you wish to escape. Instead, I urge you to assume the feeling of wealth. In your imagination, feel the satisfaction of abundant bank accounts. Experience the joy of effortless bill payments. Live in your mind's eye the life of someone for whom financial abundance is a natural state of being. Do this with conviction, with the assurance that what you are imagining is not a mere fantasy, but a reality that is even now coming into being. You see, my friends, your imagination is not a place to escape reality. It is the very workshop in which reality is forged. What you habitually imagine, you will inevitably experience. This is why it is crucial to guard the gates of your mind, to be selective about the thoughts and images you entertain. Now I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, this sounds like mere positive thinking. How can simply imagining something make it real? But you see, it is not mere positive thinking. It is an assumption of the reality of that which you desire. It is a complete identification with a state of consciousness that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. This is why I say it is time to focus, to conquer your mind. For in conquering your mind, you conquer your world. You must become the master of your inner kingdom. For it is from this kingdom that all outer circumstances arise. Let me share with you a powerful technique to aid you in this conquest. I call it the living in the end technique. Here's how it works. Before you go to sleep at night, construct a scene in your imagination that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make this scene as vivid and as real as possible. Engage all your senses. See the details, hear the sounds, feel the textures, smell the scents that would be present if your desire were realized. Now enter into this scene. Don't just observe it as a spectator, but step into it as a participant. Feel the emotions you would feel if this were your current reality. Allow yourself to experience the joy, the satisfaction, the sense of accomplishment that would be yours. As you drift off to sleep, hold this scene in your mind. Let it be the last thing you think of before you enter the sleep state. You see, my friends, in the state of sleep, your conscious mind relaxes its hold, and your subconscious mind becomes more receptive. By impressing this scene upon your subconscious just before sleep, you are planting a seed that will grow into your future reality. Repeat this process night after night, and you will begin to see changes in your outer world. For remember, your outer world must conform to your inner assumptions. As within, so without. This is the law of your being, and it is infallible. Now, I want to address a concern that often arises when I share these teachings. Some of you may be thinking, but Neville, what about action? Surely we can't just imagine things and expect them to happen without any effort on our part. Let me be clear. Action is indeed a part of the manifestation process, but it is inspired action, action that flows naturally from your new state of consciousness. When you truly assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you live in the end in your imagination, you will find yourself naturally and effortlessly taking the actions that lead to the realization of your desire. You see, once you have changed your concept of self, once you have assumed the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, your actions will automatically align with this new self-concept. You will find yourself doing things, saying things, making decisions that are in harmony with the reality you have imagined. And these inspired actions will be far more effective than any forced or strained efforts could ever be. This is why I say that the most important work is done in your imagination. For when you change your inner world, your outer world must change to match it. This is the law of your being, and it is absolute. Now let us delve deeper into the nature of focus in mind conquest. You see, my dear friends, your mind is like a garden. The thoughts you habitually think are the seeds you plant in this garden. And like any garden, what grows depends entirely on what you plant and how you tend to it. If you allow your mind to be filled with thoughts of lack, limitation, and fear, these are the seeds you are planting. And inevitably, these seeds will grow into the very circumstances you dread. But if you consciously choose to plant seeds of abundance, of success, of joy, and fulfillment, then these are the fruits your garden will bear. This is why conquering your mind is so crucial. It is not about forcing yourself to think positive thoughts. It is about becoming the conscious gardener of your own mind. It is about choosing with deliberate intention the thoughts and mental images you will entertain. It is about focusing your attention on that which you wish to make manifest in your life. Now, some of you may be wondering, but Neville, how can I maintain this focus? How can I keep my mind fixed on my desire when the current reality seems so different? This, my friends, is where the true test of your faith comes in. For you must have faith not in some external power, but in the power of your own imagination. You must understand that what you see in your outer world is nothing more than a shadow, the reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. It has no power to create your future unless you give it that power through your attention and belief. Your true power lies in your ability to imagine and feel a new reality into being. So when your current circumstances seem to contradict your desired state, do not be dismayed. Instead, turn within. Close your physical eyes to the seeming reality of the outer world and open your inner eye to the reality you wish to experience. Feel it, live it, know it to be true in the depths of your being. For I tell you truly, what you can imagine and feel is real. You can manifest in your outer world. This, my dear friends, is the essence of focus. It is not about straining or struggling. It is about choosing where to place your attention, where to direct the power of your consciousness. And as you practice this art of focused imagination, you will find that it becomes easier and more natural. You will discover that you have the power to shift your state of consciousness at will, to assume any state you desire. Now let us speak of persistence, for it is a crucial element in this work of focusing and conquering the mind. You see, my friends, the beliefs and thought patterns that have shaped your current reality are deeply ingrained. They have been reinforced over years, perhaps even lifetimes. They will not be changed overnight, but do not let this discourage you. For every time you choose to focus on your desire, every time you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are weakening the old patterns and strengthening the new. You are literally reshaping the landscape of your mind, and by extension, the fabric of your reality. Think of it like carving a new path through a dense forest. The first time you walk this path, it may be difficult. You may encounter resistance, obstacles, but with each passing, the path becomes clearer, easier to traverse, and eventually becomes the natural way, the path of least resistance. So too with your mind. At first, holding the focus on your desire may feel challenging. The old thoughts, the old beliefs may try to reassert themselves. But with persistence, with faithful attention to the reality you wish to create, the new path becomes established. The new state of consciousness becomes your natural state of being. This is why I urge you to persist in your imaginal acts. Do not be discouraged if you do not see immediate results in your outer world. Remember, you are working at the causal level of reality. The outer world must reshape itself to match your inner assumptions. And this may take time in your physical experience. But I assure you, the law is infallible. What you persist in imagining and feeling as real must and will become your reality. This is not wishful thinking, my friends. This is the very law by which the universe operates. Now let's address another aspect of conquering the mind. The management of your emotional states. You see, my dear friends, your emotions are incredibly powerful. They are the fuel that gives life and power to your thoughts and imaginal. When you combine a clear mental image with a corresponding emotion, you create a potent force for manifestation. This is why it's not enough to simply visualize your desire. You must feel it. You must experience the emotion that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. If you desire wealth, feel the security, the freedom, the joy that wealth would bring. If you desire a loving relationship, feel the love, the companionship, the deep connection in every fiber of your being. If you desire perfect health, feel the vitality, the strength, the well-being coursing through your body. These emotions, combined with your mental images, create what I call feeling tones. And it is these feeling tones that shape your reality. For the universe responds not to your words or even your conscious thoughts, but to the sum total of your mental and emotional states. This is why conquering your mind also means mastering your emotions. It means cultivating the ability to generate and sustain the emotional states that correspond to your desires. And this, my friends, is a skill that can be developed with practice. One powerful technique for this is what I call living from the end. This involves not just imagining your desire as fulfilled, but actually living your day as if it were already a reality. Make decisions, interact with others. Carry yourself in a manner consistent with the person who already has what you desire. If you're seeking a promotion at work, carry yourself with the confidence and authority of someone in that higher position. If you're manifesting improved health, move and act with the vitality and energy of a perfectly healthy person. If you're calling in your ideal partner, interact with others with the joy and openness of someone who's deeply in love. By doing this, you are not just imagining a new reality, you are embodying it. You are bringing it into being through your very way of being in the world. And as you do this, you will find that your outer world begins to shift and change to match this new state of consciousness. Now, I want to address a question that often arises when I share these teachings. Many ask, but Neville, what about other people? Can we use these techniques to change others or to make specific individuals act in certain ways? My friends, let me be clear on this point. The purpose of this work is not to control or manipulate others. It is to transform yourself, to realize the divine power within you. When you change yourself, when you assume a new state of consciousness, you will find that others naturally respond to you differently. You see, everyone in your world is yourself pushed out. They are reflections of your own consciousness. So when you change your concept of yourself, when you assume a new state of being, the people in your world must change in their behavior towards you, not because you are controlling them, but because they are responding to the new you. This is why I say that there is no one to change but self. There is no one to command but self. For when you conquer your own mind, when you assume the consciousness is your wish fulfilled, the entire world reshapes itself to match your new self-concept. This understanding liberates you from the need to try to change others. It frees you from the frustration of attempting to manipulate external circumstances. Instead, it empowers you to focus on the one thing you have complete control of, your own state of consciousness. Now let us delve deeper into the mechanics of this process. How exactly does a change in your consciousness create change in your outer world? To understand this, we must explore the nature of time in the structure of reality itself. You see, my dear friends, time as you typically perceive it, as a linear progression from past to present to future, is an illusion. In truth, all time exists simultaneously. The past, present, and future are all occurring now in this eternal moment of creation. What you perceive as the future is simply a state of consciousness that you have not yet assumed. And what you think of as the past is a state you have moved out of. But all states exist now, and you have the power to select and occupy any state you choose. This is why I often say that creation is finished. All possible states of being already exist. Your job is not to create these states, but to select and occupy them through the power of your imagination and feeling. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you occupy the state of consciousness of your desire realized, you are not creating something new. You are selecting and making real in your experience a state that already exists in the infinite sea of consciousness. This is why your imaginal acts are so powerful. When you imagine and feel your desire as real, you are literally stepping into that reality. You are aligning your consciousness with a version of reality where your desire is already fulfilled. And here's the truly miraculous part. Once you align your consciousness with this desired state, once you truly occupy it in your imagination and feeling, the outer world must reshape itself to match this inner reality. This is not magic or wishful thinking. It is the law of your being, as real and as reliable as the law of gravity. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, this sounds too good to be true. Surely it can't be this simple. And to this I say, yes, it is this simple. But simple does not mean easy. It requires a complete revolution in your thinking, a total transformation of your concept of reality and your place in it. You must be willing to let go of your old beliefs about the nature of reality. You must be willing to release your attachment to current circumstances. You must be brave enough to imagine and feel a new reality into being, even when your senses tell you otherwise. This is why I say it's time to focus. to conquer your mind. For in this conquest lies your freedom, your power, your ability to shape your world according to your desire. As we draw our discussion to a close, I want to leave you with a final thought. The work we've explored today, this art of focused imagination, this conquest of the mind, is not just about manifesting your desires. It's about awakening to your true nature. It is about realizing the divine power that resides within you. You see, my dear friends, you are not separate from the creative power of the universe. You are that power individualized. Your imagination is not just a faculty of your mind. It is the very creative power of God operating in and through you. When you imagine, you are performing the divine act of creation. So as you go forth from here, I urge you to claim this power. Use it wisely and lovingly. Remember that your mind is the garden in which the seeds of your future are planted. Tend it carefully. Focus your attention on that which you wish to make manifest. Conquer the doubts, the fears, the limiting beliefs that held you back. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and watch as your world transforms to match your inner state. And above all, persist. For in your persistence lies your power. The world may not change overnight, but I promise you this, as you maintain your focus, as you faithfully occupy the state of your wish fulfilled, your outer world must and will conform to your inner assumptions. This is the law, and it cannot fail. Go now and create consciously, for the time has come to focus, to conquer your mind, and in so doing, to conquer your world.
You stand at the threshold of your own becoming. The world that surrounds you, with its limitations and appearances, is but the outpicturing of your inner state. What you accept as true within yourself becomes the frame upon which your life is built. Therefore, do not shrink into small thoughts or dwell in the shadow of doubt. Assume the stature of one who is building an empire, not in arrogance, but in divine certainty. Act as if what you desire is already yours, for you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are conscious of being. If you see yourself as one merely hoping, merely trying, then the world will reflect that unsettled ground. But if you walk as though the empire is already laid in stone, if you move through this day with the poise, the vision, the deliberate command of one who knows, then the unseen will arrange itself to fulfill that. Knowing, you must enter the state of the wish fulfilled. You must dwell there, not as a visitor, not as one passing through, but as a permanent resident. The thoughts you think, the words you speak, the tone in your voice, the atmosphere of your being, they must all come into harmony with the version of you who reigns in that empire. Not someday, now. Do not look to the facts around you, for facts are merely echoes of old beliefs. Look instead to the invisible cause within you. That is where the real building begins. That is where the blueprint is drawn, not with hands, but with assumption. You must feel it real. You must know that every great structure was once invisible, and it became visible only because someone dared to see it when no one else could. Speak as the emperor would speak. Move as the empress would move. Make decisions not as the person waiting to arrive, but as the one who has already arrived. You are not becoming, you are remembering. You are not hoping, you are assuming. And assumption, when persisted in, hardens into fact. This empire you are building is not merely of stone and title. It is an atmosphere, a consciousness, a dominion. It begins with your word and is sustained by your belief. When your inner speech aligns with your divine identity, then what you once called miracles will become your daily inheritance. The outer must bend to the inner. That is law. So carry yourself today as if the empire is already yours, not to impress the world, but to instruct it. You are the operant power, you are the cause. Assume your throne within, and the world will rise to meet your reign. You need not consult the opinions of others, for they see only with their natural eyes. They judge by appearances, but you are called to walk by vision, inner vision. Do not ask how or when. These are questions rooted in fear and separation. The one who builds an empire does not question the strength of the foundation once the cornerstone is laid. And the cornerstone, in your case, is assumption. Radical, unwavering assumption that what you claim in consciousness is already fact. Feel the texture of the life you have imagined. Do not think of it as a distant possibility. Think from it, feel from it, live from it. Imagine the conversations you would have if it were already so. Hear the sound of your voice as one who has conquered limitation. Taste the sweetness of fulfillment. Breathe in the certainty of your success. This is not fantasy. It is the only creative act there is. Everything else is the echo. The world will resist at first, not because it is against you, but because it is structured to reflect only what you've accepted as real. Change your acceptance and the world must follow. Persist in the unseen and the seen will yield. Many falter here because they return to the senses for validation. But the senses can only echo past belief. The moment you turn back to ask, is it working? You step out of the state. You must persist, as though it is already complete, even if the world remains silent. Silence is not absence, it is gestation. And in this holy silence, all things are preparing to reveal themselves. Do not disturb the process with doubt. Do not pluck the seed from the soil to see if it is growing. Remain, trust, know, act. You must train your mind to remain faithful to the new state, and this is done through the sacred practice of inner speech. Your inner conversations are the architects of your world. What are you saying to yourself? What are you entertaining in the secrecy of your own mind? If you wish to rule in the outer, you must first govern the inner. If your self-talk is still filled with lack, with confusion, with insecurity, then do not be surprised if your life echoes back the same tune. Change the tone, change the story. Speak within yourself as one who has already arrived. Walk in the room as though it belongs to you, not in ego but in knowing. You are not a beggar of destiny, you are the maker of it. You are not a servant of fate, you are its master. And all that you desire already exists in the invisible. You are not creating something from nothing. You are tuning yourself to the frequency where it already is. Imagination is the only redemptive power. If you would build an empire, you must learn to live in imagination more than you live in the five senses. Feel the reality of your empire before one stone is laid. See the crowds, feel the honor, know the abundance, walk in the peace. Let it be so alive in you that the world must yield to it. Let no contradiction in the outer cause you to abandon the truth you've conceived within. Valdez, you may be tempted to shrink, to go back to the old way of thinking, the safe way. But safety is the enemy of expansion. You were not born for survival, you were born for dominion. You are not born to react, you are born to create. Every time you choose imagination over circumstance, you reaffirm your divinity. Every time you feel from the end, you ascend to your true place of power. Do not worry if no one sees what you see. They will, in time. For as you persist, the unseen becomes seen. That which is real in the world of spirit will harden into form. And then the same people who doubt it will ask how it happened. They will call you lucky. They will say you were in the right place at the right time. But you will know you were in the right state at the right time. The world is only the mirror. You do not chase the empire. You become the one who already owns it. You do not run after opportunity. You dwell in the state where opportunity seeks you out. All things move to support the man or woman who knows who they are. Your job is not to force. Your job is to assume the state and remain loyal to it. That loyalty is your power. When you wake in the morning, do not simply rise, assume. When you step out into the day, do not simply move, command. Let every step carry the weight of your vision. Let your body become the vessel of your assumption. This is not performance. This is embodiment. It is not about pretending. It is about being. You are not acting to deceive. You are acting to declare. What you see now may be small, but do not despise small beginnings. Even an empire begins with a thought, a single seed, a single act of faith. Do not say it is too late or it is too big. Time is irrelevant to the one who lives in the eternal now. The moment you enter the state, the thing is done. The moment you dwell in the end, the means begin to arrange themselves. Leave the how to the wisdom of the unseen. For your job is to stay in the state. You may feel resistance. Good. That is proof that something is shifting. That is the fire in which the old self is being dissolved. Let it burn. Let the doubt come, but do not dwell in it. Return. always return to the state of the wish fulfilled. That is your home now. That is your holy ground. Even when nothing appears to be happening, something is. The law does not fail. Consciousness is always being made manifest. The question is never, will it happen? The question is always, am I in the state? For the state is the cause and the world is the effect. It is not ambition that builds the empire. It is assumption. You may have the best strategy, the finest connections, the strongest will. But if your inner man is still seeing himself as small, then all effort is vain. But if your inner eye is filled with the vision of greatness, then the outer must catch up. Live as if, speak as if, decide as if, feel as if. This is not some surface trick. This is the secret of creation. The world was formed by words, and you are made in the image of that creative power. Your word is not idle. Your thought is not meaningless. Every feeling you dwell in is a prophecy of what is to come. Choose wisely. There is no power outside of you deciding your fate. That is the great illusion. You are not waiting for permission. You are not hoping for luck. You are not seeking validation. You are the one who says, "It is so." And the universe must echo, "Amen." You do not need more effort. You need more awareness. You do not need more time. You need more alignment. You do not need more help. You need to help yourself by assuming the identity of the one who already has it. That identity is not something you earn. It is something you choose. And once you have chosen, persist. Let no outer storm shake your inner peace. Let no contradiction pull you from your throne. When the world says no, let your assumption say yes. When the world shows lack, let your inner vision show abundance. When the world delays, let your faith declare it done. No one is listening to you. You are not here to reflect the world. You are here to reshape it. You are not here to repeat old stories. You are here to write new ones. Let your mind become the sanctuary of your vision. Let your heart become the throne of your desire. Let your speech become the sound of fulfillment. And above all, feel it really. Every day, feel it as though it were already done. Carry the mood of victory. Rest in the knowing of completion. Celebrate the unseen, for the one who celebrates before it arrives hastens its arrival. The one who assumes without doubt accelerates the path. The world belongs to those who dare to imagine boldly and persist faithfully. If you are building an empire, then carry yourself as its builder. Think from its heights. Feel from its riches. Move with its grace. And know with absolute inner calm that what you have imagined is already yours, because you have accepted it, you have claimed it, you have become it. And the world has no choice but to obey. Remain in the state. Let that be your highest discipline. No matter what the world presents, no matter the delays, the silence, the contradictions, remain. For it is in the persistence that the unseen begins to take shape. The lazy mind will retreat to facts. The trained mind lives from vision. This is your training now, not to react, but to remain. Not to plead, but to possess. You are you are the creator of it. You know you believe in love in the first place? Will you step back into the familiar identity of limitation, or will you remain loyal to the unseen empire you are building within? That choice will shape every conversation, every decision, every movement you make. The outer world is clay and you are the potter, but the hands that mold it are invisible. They are your assumptions, your inner talks, your feelings, your state. Speak from the mountain, not from the valley. Do not describe your life as it appears. Declare it as it truly is, in your inner knowing. When you see lack, affirm abundance. When you face resistance, affirm ease. When fear whispers, speak back with authority. The empire is not just a structure. It is a vibration, a dominion, a confidence so deeply anchored that nothing in the world can shake it. This is why you must be still and know. Not know intellectually, know in being. There is a stillness in the one who walks in the end, a calm in the one who has seen the victory and feels no need to explain, no need to convince, no need to strive. That is the stillness of dominion. That is the poise of the true creator. Act from that, live from that. When you act as if, you are not pretending, you are assuming your true identity. The world may not recognize you immediately. It may push back. Let it. That is not your concern. Your only concern is the alignment of your inner state. Are you thinking from the end? Are you speaking from fulfillment? Are you walking in the energy of the one who has already received? That is the only measure that matters. You cannot build a palace from the consciousness of a beggar. You cannot rule a kingdom from the identity of a servant. You must rise into the state, and then let every thought, every movement, every expression proceed from that altitude. When you feel the temptation to fall back, to shrink, to apologize for your greatness, reject it. That is the echo of the old self, the self that no longer governs your reality. Do not wait for signs. You are the sign. Do not wait for permission. You are the authority. What you decree within yourself will shape what you encounter outside yourself. The world responds to conviction, not to hoping. It bends to the inner tone of one who knows. When you walk as if it is already done, the universe rushes to confirm it. Let your mornings begin with gratitude for what is already yours in spirit, not for what might come, but for what already is. Gratitude is not just a polite gesture, it is a declaration of possession. It says, I have received, and that statement alone rearranges reality. Do not beg the world for evidence. Thank the unseen for fulfillment. That is the posture of one who builds an empire in consciousness. Your assumptions are the law. Your inner world is the cause. The world you touch and see is not your master. It is your mirror. And a mirror can only reflect what is placed before it. If you show it doubt, it gives you delay. If you show it fear, it gives you struggle. If you show it the face of completion, it will begin to conform. You may not know the means, you may not know the timeline, but you do not need to. You need only to remain faithful to the end. The means are secondary, the how is handled by the law. Your only duty is to feel it real, now, and to never step outside that state. And when your mind tries to wander, gently bring it back. When fear knocks, answer with the voice of fulfillment. When the old thoughts come, let them pass. They are not your truth. They are echoes, and you have moved beyond them. You are not your past, not your doubts, not your memories of failure. You are your vision, your assumption, your present embodiment of what is already yours. Even now, your world is changing. Perhaps not where the eye can see, but deep in the unseen, everything is moving into place. Every assumption you persist in is a command. Every vision you return to is a seed watered. Keep watering, keep tending. Let no wind or storm pull you from the garden you've planted. There is no magic greater than belief, no power stronger than assumption. To act as if is to create from the Spirit. It is to see with the eye of God. You are not small, you are not powerless, you are not a victim. You are the dreamer of the world, and what you consent to imagine as real must become real. For you can hold the end in mind, feel its emotion, live in its atmosphere, then everything between now and that fulfillment is only scenery. It is not your concern. The empire you see within will call forth the necessary means. The right people, the right doors, the right words, all will arise in harmony with your state. Let your body feel what the future already holds. Let your breath match the rhythm of your fulfilled desire. Let your words flow from the seat of your victory. This is how you draw it near, by refusing to be outside it. You are not reaching for it. You are dwelling in it. The one who walks in fulfillment is not hurried. They are not desperate. They are not concerned with competition. They know what is theirs cannot be taken, and what they have assumed is on its way, because it must be. Law does not break. It does not discriminate. It simply fulfills the state. And so, remain in the state, no matter what, even when nothing changes, even when things appear to worsen. These are the final tests, the shadows before the dawn. The one who persists through them gains everything. Feel it more deeply in those moments. Affirm it more boldly, and the veil will lift. This is not about convincing others. It is about convincing yourself. When your inner conviction becomes unshakable, the outer must bow. This is law. This is truth. Let every cell in your body respond to that knowing. Walk taller. Breathe fuller. speak slower. The one who has already received is never in a rush. You do not need to prove anything. Your being is the proof. Your vibration is the evidence. The world will catch up. Do not judge the harvest by the first sprouts. Do not curse the process before it completes. Every masterpiece takes time, but the blueprint is already alive within you. It is written on your heart, engraved in your imagination. And that which you continue to see, you will soon hold. This empire is not only wealth or fame or power. It is dominion over self. It is mastery of thought, of speech, of imagination. It is peace that does not depend on conditions. It is joy without cause. It is love that cannot be moved. Build from there. Rule from there. And if ever you fall, rise again. If ever you forget, remember. If ever you doubt, choose faith. Not blind belief, but knowing born of vision. This is your inheritance. This is your identity. You are not becoming the builder, you are the builder. You are not waiting for the moment, you are the moment. Now walk as one who rules, sit as one who knows, dream as one who creates. Let your entire being carry the weight of your vision. You are not here to survive, you are here to reign. You are not here to imitate, you are here to originate. The empire has already begun. It begins in thought, it is sustained by feeling, and it is made visible through assumption. Stay loyal to it. Let nothing dissuade you. Let no fact override your knowing. Assume the end, persist, and the end will assume you. You must become unmoved in a world full of motion. Let others waver, doubt, and debate. Let others chase what they believe is outside of them. You remain. Let them speak of odds and statistics, of markets and trends, but you remain centered in your knowing. There is no outer evidence stronger than inner conviction. The moment you stop looking for signs and start becoming the sign, the entire structure of your world begins to shift. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are doing the most sacred act of creation. You are stepping out of time. You are no longer reacting to what is, but declaring what is to be. The one who builds from imagination does not ask, is it realistic? They ask, is it real within me? And if it is, then it must come to pass. It is already done. It is already finished. The rest is simply alignment and unfolding. You were never meant to live in reaction. You were never meant to be at the mercy of facts. You are meant to create facts. Your state of being determines what facts appear in your life. So ask yourself not what is happening around you, but what you are accepting within. Are you walking in the end? Are you living from fulfillment? Are you embodying your empire before the bricks are even laid? It is not arrogance to live this way. It is truth. For truth does not need approval. Truth does not shrink to fit opinion. It stands quietly, powerfully, and draws all things to itself. So live from the truth of your vision. Let your actions flow from that vision. Not to prove anything, not to manipulate, but because it is already so. When you know the outcome, you walk differently. You speak differently. You move through life with a quiet fire. This fire is not loud. It does not boast. It does not try to convince. It simply is. And when you walk with that flame burning in your chest, the world takes notice. It may not say so immediately, but it responds. The law of assumption is not delayed, it is precise. Your outer world is always catching up to your inner stance. So stand firm. Your mind will offer you every excuse to doubt. It will present every old memory, every failed attempt, every reason why you should play small. Do not argue. Simply return. Return to the state. Return to the end. Let the noise fade and the vision take over. You do not need to explain your process. You only need to feel the end so completely that it becomes your atmosphere. Every time you persist, you are chiseling away the false image of limitation. Every time you refuse to yield to appearances, you are reaffirming your power. This is not a game of chance. It is a path of mastery, and mastery comes through repetition, through discipline, through the unwavering decision to dwell in the reality you have chosen. Let your inner conversations be sacred. Let them be deliberate. Let them match the tone of the one who has already received. You are not preparing to be, you are. That shift changes everything. You are not wishing, not hoping, not striving. You are resting in the knowing. You are breathing as one who has inherited the kingdom. You are acting not to gain, but because you have already gained. That's a subtle change. From seeking to being is the hinge on which all transformation swings. And though the world may take time to catch up, time itself becomes your servant when you live in the end. What once seemed far begins to draw near. What once looked impossible begins to organize itself around you. Not through effort, but through alignment. Not through pressure, but through assumption. You are not required to figure out every detail. You are required to remain in the state. The details are not your work. They are the work of the unseen forces responding to the tone of your inner world. You are the sender, reality is the receiver. But the message must be clear. It must be consistent. You cannot send one signal in the morning and a different one at night and expect harmony. Choose the frequency of fulfillment and stay there. Your thoughts are prayers. Your feelings are commands. Your assumptions are laws. There is no neutral moment. You are always creating, always broadcasting, always shaping. So do it consciously. Do it deliberately. Do it with the weight and joy of someone who understands that reality is malleable and that imagination is the tool of God within. When you speak, speak as the one who knows. When you move, move as the one who possesses. When you imagine, do not ask. Declare, and when you doubt, do not condemn yourself. Simply shift. Shift back into the end, back into the knowing, back into the feeling of completion. It is not about never wavering. It is about returning faster, returning with more power each time. And as you continue to return, something within you changes. You begin to identify not with the desire, but with the fulfillment. You no longer see yourself as the one hoping, but as the one who already is. That shift collapses time. It lifts you above circumstance. It opens doors that effort alone could never open. You are not building an empire brick by brick. You are building it thought by thought, feeling by feeling, assumption by assumption. Each moment you live in the end, another piece falls into place. Not because you forced it, but because you became it, because you assumed it, because you dared to declare, "This is who I am now." And the law, faithful and exact, echoes back, "Yes, you are." So now, walk forth, not as one who waits, but as one who knows. Let your very presence affirm the reality of your unseen empire. Let your silence speak louder than words. Your stillness carry the weight of kingdoms. You need not convince anyone. You need only become. For when you live from the end rushes to meet you. All things align, all pieces move, all reality bends, because you have assumed your throne. You are not preparing to reign, you are reigning now.
Consider, if you will, the nature of your desires. What is it that you truly want? Is it abundance in all its forms? Is it love that fills your heart to overflowing? Is it the realization of your grandest dreams? Whatever it may be, I tell you now with absolute certainty, it is already yours. Yes, you heard me correctly. Everything you desire is already in your possession, waiting for you to claim it in your consciousness. You see, the world of Caesar, this physical realm we inhabit, is but a shadow, a reflection of the true reality that exists within your imagination. It is in that sacred inner world where all things are possible, where all dreams are real, and where you are the master of your destiny. When you learn to act as if you have everything, you are not pretending or deceiving yourself. You are, in fact, aligning yourself with the truth of your being. Let us pause for a moment and truly contemplate this idea. Close your eyes, if you will, and imagine yourself in possession of everything you have ever wanted. Feel the weight of abundance in your hands. Sense the warmth of love enveloping your entire being. Experience the exhilaration of living your dreams in vivid detail. This, my dear friends, is not an exercise in futility. This is the very act of creation itself. As you sit there, eyes closed, fully immersed in the reality of your desires fulfilled, you are tapping into the infinite power of your imagination. You are at this very moment planting the seeds of your future in the fertile soil of the present. For what is imagination if not the very substance of things hoped for? The evidence of things not yet seen in the world of Caesar? Now, open your eyes and look around you. The world may appear unchanged, but I assure you a profound shift has occurred within you. You have, for a brief moment,
lived in the end, you have experienced the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And it is this feeling, this unwavering knowing, that will bridge the gap between your present circumstances and the realization of your desires in the physical world. But let us not be content with mere glimpses of our desired reality. The art of acting as if you have everything requires consistent practice, unwavering faith, and a willingness to persist in the face of apparent contradictions. It demands that you maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, not just in moments of quiet contemplation, but in every waking moment of your day. Imagine, if you will, a man who desires great wealth. He does not hope for riches. He does not wish for prosperity. He knows with every fiber of his being that he is wealthy beyond measure. How does this man carry himself? How does he speak? How does he think and feel about money? Does he worry about lack? Does he fret over bills? Does he deny himself the pleasures of life out of fear of scarcity? No, my friends, this man walks with the confidence of a king. He speaks with the authority of one who commands infinite resources. He thinks and feels abundantly, seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. He is generous, knowing that his wealth is limitless. He enjoys the fruits of his prosperity without guilt or hesitation, for he understands that abundance is his birthright. This man is not play acting or fooling himself. He is living from the end, experiencing in his imagination the reality he wishes to manifest. And in doing so, he aligns himself with the creative forces of the universe, setting in motion a series of events that will bring his imaginal act into physical fruition. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, how can I act as if I have everything when my current reality shows me lack? How can I feel wealthy when my bank account is empty? How can I feel loved when I am alone? These are natural questions born from a lifetime of accepting the illusion of external reality as the ultimate truth. But I say to you with all the conviction of my being that your external reality is nothing more than a shadow of your past thoughts and beliefs. It is the fruit of seeds planted in your imagination in days gone by. And just as surely as those thoughts created your present circumstances, your current thoughts and imaginings are creating your future reality. Therefore, to act as if you have everything is not to deny your present circumstances, but to rise above them. It is to understand that your true self, your God self, exists in a realm where all things are possible, where time is fluid, and where your desires are already fulfilled. When you act from this understanding, you are not pretending, you are claiming your divine inheritance. Consider the biblical phrase, before they call, I will answer. This is not some distant God responding to our pleas. This is the promise of your own divine nature, assuring you that everything you could ever desire already exists in the realm of infinite possibilities. Your task is simply to align your consciousness with that reality, to live from the end, to act as if you already possess everything you want. But how, you may ask, does one begin this practice? How does one act as if they have everything in the face of apparent lack? The answer, my dear friends, lies in the power of your wonderful human imagination. Your imagination is the very workshop wherein you fashion the images of the world you wish to inhabit. It is the canvas upon which you paint the masterpiece of your life. Begin by selecting a scene, a short, simple scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. If you wish for wealth, perhaps it is the scene of you looking at a bank statement with a balance that thrills you. If you seek love, it might be the feeling of your beloved's arms around you as you fall asleep. Whatever your desire, create a scene that, if it were true, would imply the fulfillment of that desire. Now enter that scene in your imagination. Do not merely visualize it as if watching a movie. Step into it. Be the protagonist in this drama of your creation. Feel the textures, hear the sounds, smell the scents. Make it as real and as vivid as you possibly can. And most importantly, feel the emotion, the joy, the gratitude, the love that this fulfilled desire brings you. Repeat this imaginal act night after night, day after day. Let it be the last thing you experience before drifting off to sleep, and the first thing you return to upon waking. Live in this state as often as you can, for in doing so you are living from the end. You are acting as if you have everything. As you persist in this practice, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your outer world. Opportunities may arise that were not there before. People may treat you differently, responding to the new vibration you are emitting. You may find yourself naturally taking actions that align with your desire, without conscious effort or strain. These changes, my friends, are not coincidences. They are the bridge of incidents, the series of events that must occur to bring your imaginal act into physical reality. Do not question them. Do not doubt them.
Simply accept them with gratitude, knowing that they are confirmation of the truth you have accepted in your imagination. But what of those moments when doubt creeps in? What of those times when the world of Caesar seems to mock your efforts, presenting you with evidence that contradicts your imaginal act? This, beloved, is where your faith is tested and strengthened. Remember, the outer world is a shadow, a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. It takes time for this shadow to fully align with your new state of consciousness. During this period of transition, you must stand firm in your conviction. You must persist in your assumption that you already have everything you desire. When doubt arises, do not fight it. Do not resist it. Simply observe it, acknowledge it, and then gently return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Remind yourself that your imagination is the reality, and that the world of Caesar must conform to it in due time. For it is written, the vision has its own appointed hour. It ripens, it will flower. If it be long, then wait, for it is sure and it will not be late. As you continue to act as if you have everything, you will find that your entire being begins to shift. Your thoughts naturally align with abundance. Your words reflect the reality of your fulfilled desire. Your actions spring from a place of confidence and certainty. You no longer hope for a better future. You live it now in the eternal present of your imagination. This, my dear friends, is the art and science of creation. It is the method by which you can transcend the limitations of your current circumstances and step into the life you truly desire. It is not magic, though its results may seem magical. It is not wishful thinking, though it begins with a wish. It is the practical application of the creative power that resides within you, the power that is your divine birthright. As we delve deeper into this practice, let us consider the nature of time itself. In the world of Caesar, time appears linear, a straight line stretching from past to future, with the present as a fleeting point of transition. But in the realm of imagination, in the kingdom of God within you, time is fluid. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously, and you have the power to select the reality you wish to experience. When you act as if you have everything, you are essentially stepping out of the linear time of Caesar and into the eternal now of imagination. You are selecting from the infinite possibilities that exist the reality that aligns with your desire. And as you dwell in that reality in your imagination, you draw it into your physical experience. Consider the words of Scripture: with God, all things are possible. This is not a statement about some external deity. It is a profound truth about the nature of your own being. For you are one with God, one with the creative power of the universe. When you tap into this power through your imagination, truly anything becomes possible. But my beloved listeners, I must caution you. This power is not to be used frivolously or for the harm of others. For in harming others, you only harm yourself. Remember, there is no other in the ultimate reality. We are all one, all expressions of the same divine consciousness. Therefore, use this power wisely for the betterment of all. As you practice acting as if you have everything, you may find that your desires themselves begin to shift. What once seemed important may lose its luster. What you thought you wanted may pale in comparison to the infinite possibilities you now perceive. This is natural and beautiful. It is a sign of your expanding consciousness, your growing awareness of your true nature. Embrace these shifts. Allow your imagination to soar beyond the confines of your current desires. For in truth, the ultimate aim of this practice is not merely to acquire things or experiences, but to fully realize your oneness with the divine. It is to know beyond all doubt that you are the creator of your reality, that you are limitless, that you are, in essence, God expressing itself as you. Now let us address a question that may have arisen in your minds. If I am to act as if I have everything, does this mean I should ignore my current circumstances? Should I pretend that my problems don't exist? The answer, my friends, is both yes and no. You see, ignoring your current circumstances or pretending they don't exist is not the same as acting as if you have everything. To truly act as if you have everything requires a shift in consciousness so profound that your current circumstances cease to have power over you. You acknowledge them, but you do not give them the power to define your reality. Imagine, if you will, a great actor on the stage. When they step into a role, they do not pretend to be the character. They become the character. Every gesture, every word, every thought flows from the reality of the character they are portraying. Yet, at the same time, the actor knows that they are not truly that character. They can step out of the role at any time. This is how you must approach your current circumstances. Acknowledge them as you would acknowledge the set on the stage, but do not let them define you. Know that you can step out of this role at any time by shifting your consciousness to the reality of fulfilled desire. As you practice this, you will find that your reaction to your current circumstances begins to change. What once caused you stress or anxiety may now be met with calm detachment. For you know that these circumstances are not your true reality. They are merely shadows of past thoughts, soon to be replaced by the manifestation of your new, empowered state of consciousness. But remember, my dear friends, this is not about escaping reality. It is about creating a new reality. It is about understanding that what you perceive as reality is fluid, changeable, responsive to your consciousness. When you truly grasp this, when you live from this understanding, you are acting as if you have everything in the truest sense. Now let us delve deeper into the practical aspects of this practice. How does one maintain this state of consciousness throughout the day, amidst the demands and distractions of daily life? The key lies in cultivating a new habit of thought, a new way of perceiving and interacting with the world around you. Begin each day by immersing yourself in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Before you open your eyes in the morning, spend a few moments living in the end, experiencing the joy and gratitude of having everything you desire. Let this feeling permeate your entire being, so that you carry it with you as you rise and begin your day. As you go about your daily activities, continuously remind yourself of your true state, the state of having everything. When challenges arise, ask yourself, how would I respond to this if I truly had everything I desire? This simple question can shift your perspective dramatically, allowing you to approach situations from a place of abundance and power rather than lack and limitation. Practice gratitude for everything in your life, not from a place of need, but from a place of abundance. Be thankful not for what you hope to receive, but for what you know is already yours in the reality of your imagination. This attitude of gratitude aligns you with the frequency of abundance, drawing more reasons to be grateful into your life. Watch your words carefully, for they are powerful creators. Speak as the person who has everything would speak. Eliminate phrases of lack or limitation from your vocabulary. Instead of saying, I can't afford that, say, that's not a priority for me right now. Instead of saying, I'm trying to find love, say, I am loved deeply and completely. Your words shape your reality. Choose them wisely. In your interactions with others, carry yourself with the confidence and ease of someone who wants for nothing. This doesn't mean being arrogant or boastful. Rather, it means exuding a quiet confidence, a sense of inner peace and satisfaction that naturally draws people and opportunities to you. When you find yourself slipping back into old patterns of thought or behavior, do not berate yourself. Simply observe it, acknowledge it, and gently guide your consciousness back to the state of having everything. Remember, this is a practice. Like any skill, it takes time and patience to master. Be kind to yourself as you learn and grow. As you persist in this practice, you will begin to notice a profound shift in your perception of the world. What once seemed impossible will start to feel inevitable. What once caused you anxiety will be met with calm assurance. You will find yourself naturally taking inspired action, effortlessly moving towards the realization of your desires in the world of teaser. But here, my beloved listeners, is where many stumble. As they begin to see evidence of their imaginal act manifesting in the physical world, they become excited and anxious. They start to wonder when their desire will fully manifest. They look for signs and try to figure out how it will happen. In doing so, they slip out of the state of the wish fulfilled and back into the state of wanting and seeking. This is a crucial point in your journey. When you begin to see the bridge of incidents forming, when you notice the world rearranging itself to accommodate your new reality, you must hold steady in your assumption. Do not be moved by appearances. Do not try to figure out how your desire will manifest. Simply continue to live from the end, knowing with unshakable faith that what you have imagined must come to pass. Remember the words of Scripture, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Your faith, your absolute knowing that you have everything you desire, is the very substance that brings your desire into physical manifestation. It is the evidence of the unseen reality that exists in your imagination. As you continue to act as if you have everything, you may find that your relationship with desire itself begins to change. You may discover that the joy you sought in the fulfillment of your desires was available to you all along. For in truth, the state of having everything is not about possessing things or experiences. It is a state of consciousness, a way of being in the world. When you truly embody this state, you realize that there is nothing to seek, nothing to strive for. Everything you could ever want or need is already within you, waiting to be expressed. This realization brings a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. You no longer chase after desires, for you know that you are the source of all desires and their fulfillment. This, my dear friends, is the ultimate freedom, It is the state of being that all spiritual teachings point towards. It is the kingdom of heaven that is within you. When you act as if you have everything, you are claiming your rightful place in this kingdom. You are acknowledging your oneness with the divine, your role as a co-creator of reality. But let us be clear. This state of consciousness does not mean that you cease to have preferences or that you become passive in the world. On the contrary, when you act as if you have everything, you are free to engage with life fully, to express your unique gifts and talents without fear or limitation. You become a channel for the infinite creativity of your universe, bringing forth new ideas, new experiences, new manifestations of love and beauty into the world. As we near the end of our time together, I want to address a question that may have arisen in your minds. If I am to act as if I have everything, does this mean I should never set goals or make plans for the future? The answer, my beloved, is that goals and plans take on a new meaning when you live from this state of consciousness. You see, when you act as if you have everything, your goals are no longer desperate attempts to fill a perceived lack. They become joyful expressions of your infinite potential. Your plans are not rigid roadmaps to a distant future, but fluid, inspired actions arising from your alignment with the divine flow of life. In this state, you may find that you accomplish more than you ever thought possible, yet with less struggle and strain, for you are no longer pushing against the current of life, but flowing with it. You are no longer trying to make things happen, but allowing them to unfold naturally from your expanded state of consciousness. And so, my dear friends, as we conclude this exploration of acting as if you have everything, I urge you to take this practice into your daily life. Begin now in this very moment to live from the state of your wish fulfilled. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the love that comes from knowing that everything you desire is already yours. Remember, this is not about pretending or deceiving yourself. It is about aligning yourself with the deepest truth of your being. It is about claiming your divine inheritance as a creator of reality. It is about living from the understanding that you are one with the infinite power that creates worlds. As you leave this place and return to your daily lives, carry with you the knowledge that you have everything. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. Let it transform your perception of the world and your place in it. For in truth, you are not separate from the world. You are the world experiencing itself through your unique perspective. Act as if you have everything and watch as the world rearranges itself to match your assumption. Live from the end and see how the path to that end unfolds before you. Be the person who has everything and discover that you have always been that person, waiting to be acknowledged and expressed. Go forth, my beloved, and create the life you desire. For you are the operant power. You are the divine made flesh. You are the creator of your reality. Everything you could ever want or need is already within you. Claim it, live it, be it. And always remember, the world is yourself pushed out. As you transform your inner world, your outer world must follow. This is the law. This is the promise. This is the truth that sets you free. Thank you, my dear friends, for your attention and your willingness to explore these profound truths. May you go forth in the knowing that you are loved, that you are powerful beyond measure, and that you have everything. For you are, in truth, everything. God bless you all. Let me make one thing abundantly clear at the outset of our discussion. When I speak of God ordering your steps, I am not referring to some external deity who manipulates your life like pieces on a chessboard. No. I am speaking of the God who is your own wonderful human imagination, the God who is the very consciousness that dwells within you. For consciousness is the one and only reality, and your consciousness is God in action. Tonight I wish to share with you how God, your own wonderful human imagination, orders your steps every single day. For once you truly comprehend this principle, you will never again feel lost, abandoned, or at the mercy of chance. You will know with absolute certainty that every event, every encounter, every circumstance in your life is divinely orchestrated by the God within you. Let us begin with a fundamental truth. The world that you perceive is nothing more than a mirror reflecting the contents of your consciousness. As within, so without. Your inner assumptions, beliefs, and feelings are continually being projected outward and solidified into what you call your reality. This is how God orders your steps, through the power of your assumptions. Consider for a moment what you assume to be true about yourself, about others, about the world at large. These assumptions, these fixed beliefs, are not mere thoughts. They are creative forces that shape and mold the substance of your experience. When you assume that life is difficult, that people cannot be trusted,
that success is beyond your reach, you are, in that moment, ordering your steps toward experiences that will confirm these assumptions. Conversely, when you assume the best, when you dwell in the certainty that you are guided, protected, and divinely supported, you are ordering your steps toward manifestations of these higher truths. This is the law, and the law is God in action. But how, you might ask, does this process unfold in the practical reality of your day-to-day life? Let me illustrate with a simple example. Imagine that you awaken in the morning with a feeling of joy and anticipation. You dwell in the assumption that this day will bring wonderful opportunities and delightful encounters. As you move through your day, you find yourself naturally drawn to certain locations, certain people, certain activities. Perhaps you decide on a whim to take a different route to work, or to visit a cafe you've never been to before. In that cafe, you meet someone who introduces you to an idea or opportunity that perfectly aligns with a desire you've been nurturing in your heart. Was this chance? Was it coincidence? No, my dear friend. It was God ordering your steps. The assumption of joy and opportunity that you embodied in the morning was the divine directive that orchestrated each moment of your day, leading you unerringly to the fulfillment of that assumption. Now let us delve deeper into the mechanism by which God orders your steps. Everything begins with a state of consciousness. A state is a mood, an attitude, a feeling about yourself or life. At any given moment, you are dwelling in a particular state, and from that state, certain behaviors, thoughts, and actions naturally flow. If you are in a state of anxiety, you will think anxious thoughts, notice potential threats in your environment, and take actions designed to protect yourself from perceived danger. If you are in a state of confidence, you will think empowering thoughts, notice opportunities in your environment, and take bold actions aligned with your desires. The key to allowing God to order your steps in a way that leads to the fulfillment of your desires is to consciously choose the state from which you operate. This choice is made not through intellectual decision-making, but through the feeling, the emotion, the conviction that the desired state is already yours. In my own experience, I have witnessed this principle in action countless times. I recall a period in my life when I desired to share these teachings with a wider audience. Instead of striving and struggling to make this happen through external means, I simply assumed the feeling of already being a successful teacher and author, reaching thousands with this message of truth. From that state of fulfilled desire, I found myself naturally taking certain steps, making certain decisions, speaking certain words, all of which led, with what appeared to be miraculous precision, to opportunities that allowed this desire to materialize in my world. But there was no miracle involved, only the perfect, immutable law of consciousness. This law operates with mathematical precision. Just as 2 + 2 must equal 4, so must your assumptions, persisted in, crystallize into objective facts in your world. This is how God orders your steps, not through capricious intervention or arbitrary favor, but through the flawless operation of law. But I hear your objection, Neville. If God is ordering my steps, and God is my own wonderful human imagination, why do I experience unwanted events? Why do I encounter obstacles and difficulties? Surely I am not consciously imagining these challenges. The answer lies in what I call your mental diet, the sum total of the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions that you have accepted as true over the course of your life. Many of these were implanted in your consciousness during childhood by well-meaning parents, teachers, and authority figures, and figures also were operating from limited understanding. Others were formed through your interpretation of past experiences. These beliefs and assumptions operate below the threshold of your conscious awareness, silently directing your steps toward experiences that confirm them. This is why self-examination is so crucial. You must become aware of the contents of your consciousness if you would take control of the direction of your life. I tell you now, with absolute conviction, that there is no force outside of your own consciousness that can dictate the course of your life. There is no fate, no luck, no chance that can override the creative power of your assumptions. God, your own wonderful human imagination, orders your steps in perfect accordance with what you accept as true. Let me share with you a principle that has transformed countless lives, the principle of revision. Revision is the art of mentally rewriting past events to align with your desires. If you have experienced something unwanted, you can, in your imagination, revise that event to unfold as you would have preferred. In doing so, you alter not only your memory of the past, but also the trajectory of your future. Why does revision work? Because time as we experience it in this three-dimensional world is an illusion. There is only the eternal now, the present moment in which all possibilities exist simultaneously. When you revise the past in your imagination, you are not pretending or fantasizing, you are actually selecting a different reality from the infinite array of possible realities that exist within your consciousness. Through revision, you cleanse your mental diet of toxic assumptions and beliefs that have been ordering your steps toward unwanted experiences. You replace these with empowering assumptions that will, with the same precision, order your steps toward desired experiences. But perhaps the most profound aspect of God ordering your steps is this: the ultimate purpose behind every event, every encounter, every circumstance in your life is to awaken you to your true identity as God. Everything that happens to you, whether you label it as good or bad, is designed to lead you to this supreme realization. This is why I urge you not to judge the events of your life by appearances. The encounter that seems most challenging may be the very catalyst needed to propel you toward a greater understanding of your divine nature. The disappointment that feels most bitter may be the precise experience required to dissolve a limiting belief that has been holding you captive. God orders your steps not for your comfort, but for your awakening. And in that awakening lies a joy and a freedom that transcends all worldly pleasure and success. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible. Sold into slavery by his brothers, imprisoned unjustly, forgotten by those he helped from all outward appearances. Joseph's steps were being ordered towards suffering, yet each of these seemingly tragic events was positioning him precisely where he needed to be to fulfill his ultimate purpose and realize his divine identity. When Joseph finally revealed himself to his brothers, he spoke these profound words: "But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good." Joseph recognized that despite the appearances of evil, God was ordering his steps toward a greater good that could not have been accomplished through any other sequence of events. In your own life, can you look back at events that seemed tragic or painful at the time they occurred, only to discover later that they were essential steps leading you toward a greater good? This is the wisdom of hindsight. But I tell you that you need not wait for the passage of time to gain this perspective. You can know right now that regardless of appearances, God is ordering your steps toward your highest good, your complete awakening. But how do you align yourself with this divine orchestration? How do you consciously participate in the ordering of your steps? The answer is both simple and profound. You must live from the end. To live from the end means to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, to dwell in the absolute certainty that what you desire is already yours, not as a future possibility, but as a present fact. When you live from the end, you are not trying to make something happen. You are acknowledging what already is in the realm of consciousness, which is the only reality. This principle is beautifully illustrated in Scripture. "Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." To believe that you receive before you see external evidence is the essence of living from the end. It is the recognition that in consciousness, in imagination, in the only reality that truly exists, your desire is already fulfilled. When you live from the end, God orders your steps with flawless precision toward the manifestation of that end in your three-dimensional experience. You need not concern yourself with the how or the when. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to the assumption that your desire is already yours. This fidelity to your assumption is what Scripture calls faith. Faith is not hoping or wishing. It is the conviction of the reality of things not yet seen with the physical eye. It is knowing that what is true in consciousness must by law materialize in experience. I recall a lady who attended my lectures in New York. She desired a specific apartment in a building that had no vacancies. Instead of focusing on the apparent impossibility of her desire, she began to live from the end. Each night before sleep, she would imagine falling asleep in that very apartment, feeling the satisfaction of already living there. She persisted in this assumption for several weeks, never wavering despite the fact that there was no external evidence to support her claim. Then, through a series of events that no human intellect could have planned or predicted, the exact apartment she desired became available, and she was offered the lease. Was this coincidence? No, it was God ordering her steps in perfect alignment with her persistent assumption. The feeling of living in that apartment, which she faithfully maintained in her imagination, was the divine directive that orchestrated every event leading to its physical manifestation. This lady did not have to manipulate circumstances or persuade people. She did not have to plot and plan and struggle. She simply had to assume the feeling of her wish fulfilled, and from that state of fulfillment, God ordered her steps unerringly toward the objective embodiment of her desire. Now, let me address a question that often arises: if God is ordering my steps, and God is my own wonderful human imagination, do I have free will? Am I truly making choices, or is everything predetermined? The answer is both profound and paradoxical. You have absolute freedom to choose the state of consciousness from which you operate. This is your divine right, your divine gift, and no person or circumstance can deprive you of it. However, once you have chosen a state, the thoughts, feelings, actions, and experiences that flow from that state are determined by the nature of the state itself. If you choose a state of wealth consciousness, you will naturally think, feel, and act in ways consistent with that state, and your experiences will reflect this consciousness back to you. If you choose a state of poverty consciousness, your thoughts, feelings, actions, and experiences will likewise align with that choice. This is the true meaning of free will. It is not the freedom to control external events or to manipulate the behavior of others. It is the freedom to choose the state of consciousness from which you observe and interact with the world. And this choice is absolutely determinative of your experience. So you see, God's ordering of your steps is not a limitation of your freedom, but the very mechanism through which your freedom expresses itself. By choosing your state of consciousness, you are essentially instructing God, your own wonderful human imagination, how to order your steps. And this brings us to a vital point. The ordering of your steps is not a process that unfolds only occasionally or in response to specific prayers or intentions. It is happening continuously in every moment of your existence, whether you are conscious of it or not. Your assumptions are constantly being projected outward and returning to you as the experiences of your life. This is why I emphasize the importance of mindfulness, of being attentive to the contents of your consciousness. What are you assuming right now? What state are you dwelling in? The answer to these questions will reveal the direction in which your steps are being ordered. If you find yourself in a state that does not align with your desires, remember that you have the freedom to choose again. You are never locked into any state of consciousness. At any moment, you can shift your assumption and thereby alter the course of your life. But how does one make this shift? It is not through force of will or through positive thinking as it is commonly understood. It is through the art of feeling, of experiencing in imagination the reality of the desired state. To shift from a state of lack to a state of abundance, you must feel the relief, the security, the freedom that abundance would bring. To shift from a state of loneliness to a state of loving relationship, you must feel the joy, the companionship, the intimacy that such a relationship would provide. The feeling is the secret. The feeling is the prayer. The feeling is the directive that orders your steps toward the manifestation of your desire. And here, my dear friends, we touch upon a mystery so profound that it has eluded the greatest minds throughout human history. The mystery is this: the feeling of the wish fulfilled, persisted in, will order your steps, not only toward the manifestation of that wish, but the transformation of your very being. For the ultimate purpose of existence is not the accumulation of possessions or experiences, as wonderful as these may be. It is the realization of your divine identity, the awakening to the truth that you are God expressing himself as a unique human personality. This awakening is what Scripture calls the birth from above. It is the moment when you no longer believe in God as an external entity, but know yourself to be God in human form. And every event in your life, every step that has been ordered by your assumptions has been leading you toward this supreme realization. I tell you truly, once you have awakened to your divine identity, you will look back on your life and see that every event, every encounter, every circumstance, whether you labeled it as fortunate or unfortunate, at the time was an assignment type of divine orchestration leading you to this awakening. You will see that there were no mistakes, no wrong turns, no wasted experiences. All was perfectly ordered according to the law of consciousness, the law that is God in action. And in that recognition, you will feel a gratitude so profound that it transforms your understanding of the entire human journey. Let me illustrate this with a personal experience. Many years ago, I found myself in a situation that, by all external measures, appeared to be a devastating setback. I had invested considerable time and resources in a venture that failed completely, leaving me in a state of financial uncertainty. In that moment, I had a choice. I could assume that I was a victim of circumstance, that life was unfair, that my steps were being ordered toward hardship and lack. Or I could assume that this apparent setback was actually a divine redirection, ordering my steps toward a greater purpose that I could not yet perceive with my physical senses. I chose the latter assumption, not as a form of positive thinking or wishful optimism, but as a recognition of the law of consciousness that I knew to be true. I lived from the end of having already transcended this temporary challenge and having been led to a greater expression of my purpose. Within weeks, through a series of events that no human intellect could have orchestrated, I was introduced to opportunities that not only resolved the financial situation, but opened doors to share these teachings with audiences I would never have reached had the original venture succeeded. Looking back, I can see with perfect clarity that what appeared to be a setback was, in fact, God ordering my steps with flawless precision toward the fulfillment of my true purpose. And this is true not only in my experience, but in yours as well. Every experience you have ever had, every step you have ever taken, has been perfectly ordered to lead you to this moment, to this understanding, to this opportunity to awaken to your divine identity, and to consciously participate in the ordering of your steps. So how, in practical terms, do you align yourself with this divine orchestration? How do you consciously participate in God's ordering of your steps? Let me offer you specific guidance. First, clarify your desire. What is it that you truly want to experience? Not what you think is possible based on your current circumstances, but what would you choose if you knew that all things were possible to the God within you? Once you have clarity of your desire, construct a scene that would imply its fulfillment. This scene should be simple, concise, and imply that your desire is already a reality. Perhaps it is a conversation with a friend in which you share the good news of your desire's fulfillment. Perhaps it is simply the feeling of relief and satisfaction that would accompany the realization of your wish. With your scene constructed, enter into a state of relaxation. This is crucial, for the subconscious mind, which is the creative power of God within you, is most receptive when the conscious mind is temporarily suspended. Just before sleep is an ideal time for this practice, as the transition from wakefulness to sleep naturally bypasses the analytical, critical faculties of the conscious mind. In this relaxed state, enact your scene in imagination. See it clearly, hear the sounds that would accompany it, feel the emotions that would arise from the fulfillment of your desire. Make the scene as vivid and as real as possible, involving all your senses. Most importantly, feel the reality of what you are imagining. The feeling is the secret. The feeling is the prayer. The feeling is the directive that orders your steps toward the manifestation of your desire. Repeat this practice nightly, or whenever you find yourself in a quiet, receptive state. Do not be concerned with how or when your desire will materialize. Your responsibility is not to figure out the process, but to remain faithful to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. As you go about your daily activities, maintain the assumption that your desire is already a reality in consciousness, which is the only reality. This does not mean denying the evidence of your senses or pretending that conditions are other than they appear to be. It means knowing that appearances are merely shadows, reflections of past assumptions, and that the newly established assumption will, in due course, replace these shadows with the substance of your desire. Throughout your day, whenever doubts or contradictory evidences present themselves, quietly return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Do not fight against negative thoughts or feelings. Simply withdraw your attention from them and redirect it to the assumption of fulfillment. This practice persisted in will order your steps with divine precision toward the manifestation of your desire. You need not concern yourself with the specific actions you should take or the decisions you should make. From the state of fulfilled desire, you will naturally think the thoughts, feel the feelings, and take the actions that lead to its externalization. But remember, the greatest desire, the ultimate purpose toward which all your steps are being ordered, is the realization of your divine identity. Every lesser desire, when fulfilled, is designed to lead you toward this supreme realization. So as you practice this art of conscious assumption, do so not only for the fulfillment of specific desires, but for the awakening to your true self. Assume the feeling, I am God, expressing as this unique human personality. Live from that assumption and watch as your steps are ordered toward experiences that confirm and deepen this truth. In the final analysis, God's ordering of your steps is not about controlling external events or accumulating possessions and experiences, as delightful as these may be. It is about awakening you to who you truly are and have always been, God Himself individualized as you. Every event in your life, every step you have taken, has been leading you toward this supreme realization. And once you have awakened to this truth, you will look back on your journey with profound gratitude, recognizing that all was perfectly ordered according to the divine pattern woven into the very fabric of your being. My dear friends, as we bring this discussion to a close, I want to leave you with a thought so powerful, so transformative, that if you truly embrace it, your life will never be the same. The God who is ordering your steps is not separate from you, is not external to you, is not other than you. The God who is ordering your steps is the very consciousness in which you live and move and have your being. You are that God expressing Himself as this unique human personality, this specific pattern of thinking and feeling and perceiving. And the more fully you embrace this truth, the more consciously you can participate in the ordering of your steps. So I say to you now, with all the conviction of my being, assume a divinity. Live from the certainty that you are God expressing in human form. Feel the peace, the power, the limitless potential that this realization brings. And from that state of divine self-awareness, watch as your steps are ordered with flawless precision toward experiences that reflect and confirm your true identity. Remember, the feeling is the secret. The feeling of being God in human form, of being the divine consciousness that orders all things according to its nature, is the most powerful assumption you can make. Live from that feeling, and you will witness a transformation in your life so profound that you will pound in all the perfection with which your steps have been and are being ordered. I thank you for your attention, for your openness to these truths, and for your willingness to test them in the laboratory of your own experience. For that is where all truth must ultimately be verified, not in the realm of theory or belief, but in the lived reality of your daily life. Go now in the awareness of your divine identity and watch as God orders your steps toward the fulfillment of your desires and the realization of your true self. For I tell you truly, as you assume your divinity, as you live from the certainty that you are God expressing in human form, your steps will be ordered with such divine precision that you will look back on this moment as the beginning of a new and glorious chapter in your eternal existence. In the words of Scripture, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and He delighteth in His way. Go forth now in the knowledge that you are that Lord, ordering your own steps through the power of your divine imagination. And in that knowledge, in that assumption, in that feeling lies the freedom and the power to create the life you desire to live. Thank you, and good night.